We've had a very exciting 6 months. It's been characterised most recently by the investment of another $59 million US at 45p per share, which was a 35% premium into SolGold by BHP. It's clear endorsement by BHP of SolGold's very exciting copper gold porphyry project at Cascabel in northern Ecuador, and it comes on the heels of similar endorsement by Newcrest Mining. So we have a tiger by the tail. Our investment position in SolGold represents our most important and most valuable investment in DGR, and it helps to show that we don't just deliver these things by accident. It's part of a strategic business model to take grassroots exploration projects and work them up into world-class tier 1 ore bodies. So that development has been very important. That's brought with it ongoing backing from Tribeca, a very large global resource investment fund, and they've increased their backing from 8 million to 10 million in DGR. And we've also had mounting gas and liquids production from the Roma Shelf project in Armour Energy. So we've got projects moving forwards in copper gold, one of the best in the world at Cascabel in northern Ecuador, and in oil and gas production in southern Queensland. So that combined with Tribeca is a very exciting combination. We believe that the speed with which BHP made that investment, first of all by buying Guyana's stake, I think it took them about 4 days from expressing interest in it to closing out the deal, and then the very quick and efficient negotiation that we had with them over the recent placement at 45p per share into SolGold demonstrates that they believe that SolGold is cheap. They, in our view, believe that the company's got a lot further to go and the resource will get a lot bigger, and that as we go through the preliminary economic assessment, the pre-feasibility and ultimately feasibility study, SolGold will be demonstrated increasingly to be a very cheap investment, and one that will stand a lot more buying and price rises and value increases. So as we're the second largest shareholder in SolGold, continued attention from BHP, Newcrest, and indeed other companies around the world who are intent on taking part in the copper revolution will augur very well for DGR. Well, first of all, to do with Pennant. Pennant is a subsidiary of Auburn, and it's focusing on zinc provinces. So we have a very interesting zinc project at Walford Creek in North Queensland, right beside Aeon Metals project, where they've just made a very significant provincial extent discovery. And then we still have projects in Ripple around the MacArthur River mine in the Northern Territory. We've recently applied again through Pennant in around the Tanumbirini Dome area, where recent work by Geoscience Australia has outlined a huge zinc, lead and nickel province with some significant anomalism both geochemically and geophysically in the terrain there. And then over at Victoria River Downs between Pennant and Ripple, we also have another Mississippi Valley style zinc and lead project in a large domal feature at Victoria River Downs in the NT. So we're going to be combining Ripple and Pennant and putting together a new zinc company which will have very significant projects in 4 different provinces, and expect to over the next couple of years make some significant zinc discoveries there. And then Uganda Oil, it's a project in the Albertine Graben. It's held through Army Uganda, which is 17% owned by Auburn Energy and 83% owned by DGR. We believe that in the two best of 5 or 6 different prospects that we've outlined on seismic data there to be potential for around about 300 million barrels of oil. That's not a wild claim. Some 85% of the wildcat wells drilled in the Albertine Graben have turned into producers. Tullow has a very significant producing project some kilometres north of our project at Kaniwataba on their Kingfish field, and it produces oil out of its wells at around about 5,000 barrels a day. So we're highly optimistic about some significant oil discoveries in the Albertine Graben, and this will form a very significant next leg to the value add story in DGR Global. Well, we're pathological about copper. The world is going through an urbanisation and electrification revolution. People are wanting higher and higher standards of living, and they're relying more and more on the use of electricity. For that, you need a lot of copper. Copper grades have been dwindling in the major copper producing theatres in the Chilean Andes. They've been having capital problems with water supply, labour problems. You combine all this with declining grades and declining production. We believe, as most analysts do and most major companies have publicly stated, that the world's going to be in copper shortfall sometime in 2019. That's not all that far away, and with one of the best discoveries in the world in the last 20 years at Cascabel, we believe that SolGold, and of course DGR as a result of its significant shareholding in SolGold, is well placed to take advantage of this. So copper through SolGold, terribly important to us. Happily, with the copper comes a lot of gold. Gold is still the oldest and most negotiable currency in the world, and if you can have one of the world's largest mines in it, then you've basically got a printing press for money. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. We also have new gold provinces being defined in Chad through Iron Ridge resources. Back to the electric revolution, people are getting more and more interested in storing power, so lithium batteries, and accordingly lithium carbonate and hydroxide production is something that we're looking to get involved in through IRR and Dark Horse Resources in Argentina and West Africa. So electric revolution, copper and lithium, gold is the oldest form of money, you can't ignore that, and then from an energy point of view, we're very interested in gas, and that's what ARMA is all about. Gas is the cleanest, most efficient form of fossil fuel that you can get, and we see gas consumption and demand rising rather than falling globally, and indeed in Eastern Australia, particularly in Queensland and in Victoria, gas demand is really on the rise, prices are on the rise, and that augurs well for our emergent production story on the Roma Shelf in southern Queensland in ARMA. So yeah, we like diversity, but we don't want to go into every available metal. We just want to focus on the ones that are desperately needed and inexorably demanded by a burgeoning and urbanising civilisation around the world.